we're live. Hello, everybody at home. I know there were so many people just sitting, waiting on the offline screen to watch this. Yeah, I have a couple more documents I need to open. Real quick, in summary of last time. Let's see, we started off with Ren and Henry going to report to Zerka. Henry was very antsy about missing the Kachin soldiers who went in to report to Count Store. But they did go to talk to Zerka. When upon seeing her, they saw that her fur was matted. She was not as put together as she normally is. There was some blood on her cheek. No visible wounds on her, but definitely blood. Hi, Mom. Um,
Mom, hello.
uh, uh, gave a pretty full report, including Ren's brief travel and very short eyes-on experience with Call. Saw that Call is unharmed. Made out that y'all know their location, and y'all are waiting on y'all have your two options that both will take place, that have both have their best chance of success during the dual moon. So y'all are waiting, I believe, right now. It's still 2 days, all of today, all of tomorrow, and then, or wait. So yes, I believe, timeline-wise, it's the rest of the day, which it is still morning, and then at the end of the next day will be the night that both moons are visible. Lots of so that was the report to Zerka. The offer was made to Zerka to be the one to make the sending to Call, so that she could hear their voice. Zerka responded that she will hear their voice when they're back. Henry and Ren promise to keep her updated, and then hear shouting from outside. Henry quickly goes outside, thinking that it is the Kachin soldiers, but instead finds Pim and Andy holding Dirk back, who is very angry, screaming, yelling. When he sees Henry, he is able to get a hand free and throws a knife at him. He misses, but just is very, very angry. Zerka is able to get him to stop trying to attack Ren and Henry, but he is still very steamy. Later, they are able to speak to Jax, who just seems very off, giving him customer service smile, doesn't seem to really be understanding what he's being told. Immediately after that, Henry and Ren are able to just wait outside of the Great Hall until the Kachin soldiers come out. Henry is able to kind of chat up first Ensign John, who is already just answering questions from other Storguard soldiers. Henry takes him to get him drunk. He seems pretty ready to do that. And the information that, roughly the information that they are able to get out of it, is that none of the soldiers knew the end of the war was coming. It just kind of happened suddenly. They also learn that John's father is semi-important in the capital, a high-ranking military officer, it seems. Ren and Henry then do a sending to Call, and Call responds that they can send Call home, which leads Henry and Ren to do a full-on freak out where they rush to Barnabas and get him to do sending, who is more than willing to do so. I believe we ended up doing like 4 sendings that day or something. It was a lot. Generally, they learn that Vic, which is not the real name, or at least not the whole name of the entity, has a skeletal arm and a hidden face, created the space that Call is in, knew about Call before Call was and wants Call to be able to get back to K'tughr. That next morning, the expedition leaves. Very few members of the Corps of Light stay behind. There's some Corps of Mages, some Corps of Blades, but only about 10 Corps of Light stay behind because they want all of the healing potential they can during the expedition. Basically, all of the members of the Corps of Light that stay behind, other than Henry and Patch, are druids who can keep an eye out at the gates for any sign of the death, which is still being very closely looked out for. Henry then goes and sees the hearts. Pretty lighthearted conversation. Chels then gets a little deep and makes sure that Henry knows that the war is not his fault, and that if he had gone to stop the war, there could have been things that happened in Storgard that he would have then felt guilty for. Henry thanks Chels for caring, to which she says that she cares for who she can. She cares for who she can, and that Henry is easy to care for. And then almost immediately escorts him out of her house. Chels also says that she will not be able to meet with Henry again until after the dual moons. So it'll be a little.
She's a werenull. She's going to be transformed into a null during the dual moons.
That is not a thing in base D&D, at least.
But two of your players independently thought of it. I feel like that means it's canon, right?
I have never said that. So yeah, that's it
know
for.
That's all it takes to make things canon.
All right. What's this name thing?
You said Vic is not their real name.
Oh.
Well, not their full name. I was like, Victor, that's their full name. Victorious. Victavian. Victoria.
You're assuming that Vic is the beginning. And also that wasn't a mislead. Anyway. So let's just go ahead and hop on into the session. Starting with Henry. You really think that I would make a Russian character and not give them a Slavic accent? You don't know me.
Oh no, I know you. I just also know that it would be killing you that whole time because you were like, oh, I would have to make this accent not noticeable to not give too much away, which would be why the whole RP that we had was in text, so you didn't have to use the accent.
Ask Asher. I did a fucking accent through text.
Yeah, he was very excited about it. He's like, I wonder if she picked up what accent it was.
God.
So yes, Henry, I believe had plans to meet back up with Ren, but is now outside of Hearthouse.
Yep, Henry's outside of Hearthouse, and he's gonna go see Ren, and let's see. We wanted to keep Zerka updated, so I guess Henry goes to see Ren. Perception check for the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a low number. 8.
Sorry, I need to check one thing. I'm sorry, I gave the wrong timeline. So tomorrow will be a full day, and then the day after that, that night is the start of the duels. On an 8, I mean you don't get lost on the way back.
Okay. Well, Henry goes to Ren's room and knocks on the door.
Ren is awake, and Ren looks ready to go talk to Barnabas and just do the rounds. He looks like he seems like he wants to be very efficient about all this, so like make their stops and go. So we haven't heard anything from Call again. Big surprise. I don't think Call has any way to send sending to us, but we don't have any updates to go either way. So that means we need to check what progress we have. So I guess that means, should we just check on Kenda and Jenna?
Yeah, and we should maybe also check on Truffle and Jax. Should we do that first since it's close?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think Henry kind of rubs Ren's arm.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's go grab coffee and food for Jax. What? No, I guess most people have probably eaten by this point in the day. Let's just go.
Ren's gonna get Jax something anyway, very quickly. Chocolate croissants, if there are any.
I will say we're getting closer to noon by now because Henry has already gone to the Hearts and spent time there.
It remains chocolate croissants.
I was not arguing against that. I was just informing you of the time of day.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, universities always have like little like coffee and food stations, So there's definitely I would say there would be a place in the university on the way down.
Okay. So money for croissants, and we'll go see Jax.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just like 5 copper.
Cool.
And right. Coffee.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, the both of you.
Nat 20?
Mod 20.
All right. Nice perceptions.
Do we see things?
You do see some things.
Ooh.
Something that you see a few things. First of all, Pim is hidden rather well. It's hard to describe where she is. Basically, the roof of the barracks extends out slightly, and there's just a little nook that she has tucked herself into. From how you can see her, like, you can't see her face or eyes, so, if she is looking directly at you, she can probably see part of you as well, but judging by how you're seeing her, she doesn't really seem to be on the lookout. She just seems to kind of be in a little space. Also, I mean, it's a nat 20. You see, as you approach, just some, like, wood splinters and also wood shavings between the barracks and Zerka's office. Yeah, that's about it. And then just another thing, the courtyard is far more empty than it has ever been in our entire campaign, because so many of the people who spend their time here are not in the city.
While we were going around the university, did we see Great Servant Rawl?
No.
Cool.
Okay, so I guess we go knock on the barracks door and go see Jax.
Andy opens the door, and a little unusual. Typically, he opens the door and immediately stands to the side to let y'all in. He stands in the doorway for a moment, just kind of looking at y'all. And then, like, he's taking in... Actually...
We roll inside or something?
If you'd like to.
Okay.
12.
19.
Nice.
Yeah, so, Henry, you're having a hard time getting a read on him. He just seems to be eyeing y'all over. Ren, you are able to pick up that Andy is debating letting y'all in. But also, you are able to tell that he is not personally upset with y'all. It is more he is debating on if it would be a good idea for y'all to come in right now.
Ren is not going to push the issue. He's going to offer the pastries and say, these are for Jax, and we wanted to check on Truffle.
He looks inside briefly, and then just does his very characteristic slow nod, and stands to the side in a very familiar posture that you have seen him do before, and allows you all in.
Okay. So yeah, Ren will go deliver the pastries to Jax. I think he won't even say anything. He'll just like set them like wherever there's space, like on his bedside or bedside table or something.
Jax is sitting upright in his bed. His lute is set carefully off to the side of his bed. His hands are folded in front of him. His eyes are a little glassy, and he doesn't respond to y'all much. However, as you are setting down the pastries, you do hear a soft thumping sound coming from underneath his bed.
Ren will check under the bed.
There is a bowl that is filled with food under his bed, and Truffle is... I'm saying that bunnies do this. I don't actually know this, but he's scratching his ear with his back leg.
Ren wants to gently take Truffle out from under the bed and perhaps place him in Jax's lap.
It seems very automatic, but Jax's hands unfold and he goes to caressing Truffle. His hands look very gentle.
I think Ren is ready to leave then. Unless Henry wanted to do something.
No, I think on the way out, he doesn't say anything to Andy, but he gives him a look of like familiarity and friendship of like, I see you and I'm not going to talk to you, but you know, hey. If that makes sense.
Jax doesn't return any looks, and
No,
you're not.
Andy.
Sorry, Andy. When you do look over to Andy, he has been watching y'all. It's very hard to make out his expressions, but he gives another slow nod at your expressions. Anything else?
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Okay. For the sake of brevity and pushing through things quickly, Kenda is still studying, learning more, but it's specifics that, as far as we're players in a game, not actually having to learn how these things specifically work. Nothing new to a player standpoint. And y'all said you were going to go see Jenna as well? So Jenna does give y'all a shopping list and asks that y'all return the next day. She reinforces that the things aren't expensive, but it's kind of she's not going to work on it without Oster there, and she doesn't trust other people to go shop for her.
Is Oster not there?
Oster is there, but...
but if Oster left...
Yeah, if Oster left, she has to pause her work.
Yeah.
So she can continue working if Oster is there. So either Oster goes and she doesn't work, or she goes herself and she doesn't work. So it will just be faster if y'all will do the shopping for her and bring it back the next day.
Okay, we'll do some shopping.
I think Henry makes the joke of like, oh, are they your bodyguard because you're focusing so hard or something like that? Henry wants to know why she can't work on it without Oster there.
Jenna is very focused in on the device again, and Oster is gonna just say, every once in a while it goes off unintentionally. Hasn't happened in 5 weeks or so. Lots of iterations since then. Sometimes when it goes off unintentionally, she is taken somewhere that's kind of dangerous, and when she is brought back, sometimes it brings something that's not very nice with it. I'm here to fix that.
Alright. Respect. Okay, we go shopping.
So yeah, like a bodyguard.
Yeah, a bodyguard.
Okay. Also, I like that mug, Ben.
Thank you. My wife chose it. The items are very easy to find, as she said. They'll cost y'all about 10 gold to gather. It's cheap stuff. Mostly it's like little scrap bits of brass, of certain weights and lengths.
Okay, it's 10 gold.
I think Henry will take that on.
Do we each want to do 5?
I'm going to say that Henry pays for it all.
Okay, because Ren would have fought Henry on it. So.
Rollies.
Yeah.
Rollies.
Let's just each do 5.
Two.
Okay. Just straight luck check or something?
Yeah.
13.
Alright, Ren is able to pay before Henry gets the chance.
Yes, okay.
You also got the croissants. Henry's very pouty about this. Sleight of hand check to see if Henry can...
Oh my god. Okay,
so
we'll bring this back to Jenna the next day?
That's what she asked for.
Okay.
So other than that, we can kind of fast forward to the night for what method of sendings are we doing?
Fuck, I forgot to. So we're gonna go. Henry's gonna use his to talk to Bennett to see if Bennett found anything out from the High Mage, and we're gonna go to Barnabas and see if we can use as many of his to talk to Call about things.
Okay, which means I need to throw together ascending.
Yes.
So
Scroll up and
if Ren wants to start working on the sending to Call, and Henry can do the Bennett sending at the same time, just to make things go a little quicker.
oh god. The sendings I wrote for Bennett from Henry are just too much. They're too much. They're both very dirty, and I don't know why that's the mood I was in when I was writing these a couple weeks ago.
Excuse me. While y'all are writing, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick.
All right, got mine in. I'm gonna go heat up some water real quick so that we can have tea in a minute.
love the intensity of your humidifier, and it looks like your spouse just kind of emerged from the fog.
Hey, it's the best way to have a spouse emerge.
I need to up my game.
Seriously.
We'll close that door because it feels weird. Excuse me.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Okay, so here's what I got. Here's what I got. So, Henry, if you want to help me tweak this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like the first 3 sentences, first 4. Rather than any changes, observations, company still there, should we ask, why, if Vic collects lost things, then why would they send call back with a very powerful magic spell? Like that sentiment.
I think that's good. Something more specific. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is probably not great, but just kind of that thought. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
Okay. Ben, we send that to call.
Roll a d. Wait, Barnabas is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Call. You receive that message.
Roger, Dodger. Working on response.
How many sendings do we get to do tonight?
Barnabas has a few. It was a light day, but so he has a few options, especially if there's any urgent information. But like any extra magic that he has left over, he will be putting into the school. So it's
okay. I always format my sending like a poem. Don't know why. Like, it doesn't always rhyme, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if any of y'all have seen the Critical Role crew do sendings, but this is much more organized.
How do they do it?
Like this. Hi. And they just count it off as they go.
Stop.
Which, to be fair, in a more like production-based manner of like, hey, we actually have lots of people watching, that keeps things interesting and it's also funny.
Yeah.
Whereas we kind of stop for about 10 minutes and are quiet.
That's true. That's true.
But we aren't performing to a massive audience, just one very awesome mom. Um,
We love Mom.
and moms are patient, so.
Um,
Oh no,
where's my Bennett response?
I sent it to you.
What? Oh, I'm blonde. Blonde. Bleh,
You are blonde. That's correct.
I am blonde. And also blind.
Okay, so you said Barnabas is giving this Sunday?
Correct.
Okay. So call's response comes through and it says, I'm sorry they worry. I'm bored but fine. Can't elaborate. They didn't give much clarification. Haven't seen them in a while. Hello, sir.
Yeah, this is so cute. Call is so cute. I love them so very much.
I wanted to do that the first time that Barnabas sent through a sending. I wanted to do that the whole time, but y'all sent through so many questions that I didn't have 2 words to spare. I've been saving that.
Barnabas gives a very small smile, and then relays everything except the hello, sir.
Oh my gosh.
Because doesn't feel that that's entirely necessary for y'all to hear.
That was the message to Barnabas.
Exactly. He's not gonna read his private mail to y'all.
Okay. I think Henry turns to Ren and says, "Is there anything else that we should say to them tonight?"
Ren looks like he can't think of a good excuse to spend another spell. Like he
Yeah.
wants to, but there's really nothing else to say for the day.
We'll talk to them again tomorrow. It'll be okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Ben, can I request that you read the response from Bennett? I want to hear the tones. I think it's okay for you to read to the everyone.
Okay. Karov assures me that he has the power to get 2 other planes and get someone from them. Who is this person that is stuck?
I thought. Yeah, so I think Henry tells Ren that I mean the High Mage can definitely do it. Tomorrow I can try to work out some details with Bennett on like how we would do that.
All right. Any other chores to do this day?
Mm-mm.
All right. Next day, we'll go through it in a similar fashion. Stop me if you have something that you want to add or do.
I do want to say Henry has been knitting something yellow during all the downtime.
Okay.
During the day.
I would say that there's an okay amount of downtime. There is. I'm going to just go ahead and insight your characters for this and say there is a fair bit of flitting about nervously in anticipation. Like a little bit of wasted time of like running around, double checking certain things. Another checkup. I assume y'all are not going back to the dozen barracks.
No,
Not today.
not today.
Once again, Kenda, it's a quick, just an update on what they have learned. They're seeming to be fairly confident that they're going to have a rather large potential of magical power. Sorry. They believe that they are going to have kind of a extraordinary reserve of magical power available during the dual moon. Other than that, on the way to the half a mug to give Jenna the supplies that y'all purchased the day prior, I do need a perception check from the two of you. Because I assume y'all are going everywhere together.
21.
21?
8.
Henry is a little caught up, but Ren, you
He's walking
hear...
and knitting.
Ren, you hear quickly approaching horse hoofbeats. And as they approach, you can hear people like gasping and shouting as apparently whoever is riding this horse rather quickly is causing a bit of commotion.
I guess if we're in the middle of the street, we stand aside, I guess.
As you do, you see Finks on horseback, like bolting. And let's just go ahead and give him a quick little perception check.
Maybe. Is he gonna try to kill us too?
Maybe.
Henry is wearing his armor, by the way. I have not said that.
I have assumed that you are battle ready the whole time,
Henry is nervous.
especially when going to places where the light hands might be.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will point out, y'all have not seen any members of the light hands since. You haven't seen any members at all since the. I guess since the trial with Jenna's device. Neither in the streets nor in the half a mug itself. Finks is a rather perceptive young lad. Let me get the exact number. Yeah, 21 is pretty damn good. He sees the two of you and just stands up on the saddle and jumps off towards y'all, doing a rather impressive feat of acrobatics as his horse suddenly realizes it has no rider and begins to slow. He lands and grabs Henry's kind of armor and says, "We need help quick," and just starts dragging you back the way he came.
Okay, Henry goes immediately.
Okay, we're going.
So as he's going, he explains breathlessly that the two members of the Core of Light that had joined the Alluria's expedition were killed, and Alluria herself is completely tapped out and just has no energy to heal, and there are wounded.
Mm-hmm. All right. Henry goes as fast as possible.
Like some kind of crazy person. I don't have Darkmon on Finks' character sheet.
What else do I have prepared?
So, excuse me.
All right, I've got Cure Wounds.
Ren has healing potions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he also continues that their group was returning to, because the members of the dozen were out there waiting for this group to return. As it turns out, when they were coming back, already very ragged, they, as well as the members of the dozen, were ambushed by more Gnoll than they expected to be alive still. They were able to kill all of their attackers, but there are many wounded, and they're tapped out on healing. So as y'all approach the gate, you can see the druid who is stationed at the east gate is already doing what they can to heal some of the more, death's door looking individuals. Excuse me. But as you approach, you see Seymour is on a stretcher and is rather bloody on his right side. None of the other members of the dozen are in any kind of critical condition. Most of them are beat up, scratches and such, especially Arnold around his arms. Like, what I was about to say, his sleeves are in tatters. Like, Arnold wears fucking sleeves. But his arms have crisscrossing scratches on them. But it's not like there's no blood dripping off of him, so they all seem to be shallow. And from what y'all know of his fighting style, this is common. There are a few other, as of yet unnamed soldiers who are also in more dire situations similar to Seymour. The druid at the gate is quickly running through, exhausting himself as you approach.
Okay. I think Henry goes right up to Seymour and gives him some heals. I have no idea how to gauge thing. Okay, how many people are hurt?
I'm trying to remember exactly the amount in the group.
Henry's gonna try to split all of it, so he has Cure Wounds and he has Lay on Hands. That he's gonna try to split amongst everyone.
You do have Spare the Dying as well, right?
I do. Yes.
And that's a cantrip. So I will just say you can stop anyone from dying. Like you're not.
Okay.
So no one is going to die in the gateway here.
Okay.
Other than that, how much is your Lay on Hands full?
30.
Okay. So I will say. And how many? I'll say there's 10 people that need your attention.
I think he gives 10 hit points to Seymour. So then that's 9. I mean, most soldiers are only going to have like 5 HP, right?
I mean, this group wasn't all guardsmen. Like it was mostly Cora Blades and a couple Core Mages. The Core of Light members are not there.
Okay. So I'm just going to give everyone 3 hit points from Lay on Hands pool, and then I'm going to do Cure Wounds on Seymour.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the HP from Cure Wounds.
One D8. Where are my D8s? I'm fucking not prepared.
You have a bunch of them.
I do, but they're in jars. I don't have them out in a boat. Oh, that's good. 9.
Okay.
9 hit points.
So Seymour sits up with 9 HP. The other assorted members who were badly wounded are all conscious, but looking roof. um, and Illyria comes up to you, like staggering, and she braces herself on your shoulder and says, "Thank you. I did what I could, but I could only do so much."
Yeah. Thank you for getting them here so that we could help them. Are you okay?
Um, she doesn't look 100%, but she looks more tired than hurt.
Okay. Well, it's been a long time.
It has. Their ambush was quite a surprise, but there were no. It concerns me that they had enough to ambush us, but other than the ambush, I thought we had cleared them out. I I don't even know. I don't know where we would look for more. We didn't get any information. I think we might just have to wait for any reports of attacks, if there are any still out there. And she also is kind of has a furrowed brow. She says, I still wasn't able to find. Ooh, shit! What's his name? I still wasn't able to find Valandris' mace.
Who?
The angel that
Her.
guides
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know who that is. I would.
Yeah.
But we heard some connections about the mountain, but we're never able to get anything clear about it. Has Count Storr left with his men yet?
Yeah, they left yesterday morning.
She
Bad timing.
kind of furrows her brow and says, "Well, once I am able to, I believe I will go to join them."
Okay. Don't go too soon.
She kind of gives you a little grin and says, "I heal quickly."
He laughs. Ha ha ha. We're walking with the dozen who don't know that Call is gone.
So, yeah. Do y'all go to give Jenna the supplies that you purchased, or do you take them back to the barracks?
We take them back to the barracks, right? Right, Ren?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we take the dozen back.
Very, very Sebastian in Little Mermaid.
Hi, squeaky voice.
As y'all start moving, Esley does come up beside y'all and asks, "Do you have anything that we should know?"
Yes.
Good. Are you just gonna tell her, or does she need to roll insight?
I mean, we're gonna tell her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ren will give the lowdown. There are only, so many ways to give, bad news like this, but, Ren is just going to give, like, kind of, his report kind of thing. Like, Call is unharmed. They are, not here right now. So, but yeah, he'll explain extra-dimensional prison. There was something happened on a mission within the city, and they are working on solutions to get them back on the dual moon. So basically just run down of the situation.
Once the circumstance becomes clear, you hear Kayla from behind you start very angrily, kind of not talking to y'all, but very angry, starts talking. Kind of seems like she's about to start blaming y'all, and then you hear a hushed word from Percy, and she stops.
Henry gives Percy like a guilty look.
List makes a point to come up next to y'all and walk with y'all. Unless y'all want to roll for something, that's all y'all are going to get from them.
I think Ren will try to roll insight
On who?
list.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Insight on List. I also want to roll insight on Percy.
Okay, go ahead.
12.
Nat 20 plus 5 for List.
Okay. Well, I mean, she's sorry. They're not trying to hide what they're doing. They are intentionally trying to march alongside y'all to show support for y'all.
Oh, that's really cute.
It is rather clear they don't believe it's your fault. And they are trying to. You got a fucking 25. And they're not trying to hide what they're doing. So, like, as a matter of fact, they're trying to make it obvious what they're doing. They're trying to show the rest of the members of the dozen that y'all are Call's friends and y'all wouldn't have just allowed this to happen for no reason, and they don't blame you. Henry, you said you wanted to roll for Percy as well. Go for it.
Yes, 16.
Percy is not being as open about what he's doing.
Unfortunate.
Sorry, what did you roll?
16.
16.
So that's how you do math. I guess does Ren know that Percy and Call were an item at one point? Yeah, I didn't think so. I think just Henry knows.
Yeah, Ren does not know this. It's not a secret. It just, the last time it came up, Ren was currently looking through the eyes of a weasel.
Yeah, Ren was unconscious and y'all decided to gossip without him.
We talked about Bennett, we talked about Percy, talked about all the hot goss.
Ren had nothing to offer, so.
It turned into the ex-boyfriend talk.
Yeah.
Percy did not. Percy did not roll super great. But so you are able to tell that he is putting on a brave face, and he is trying to keep Tempers cool because that's his goddamn job. But because you beat his roll, you can see that he doesn't fully believe everything he's saying. That being said, you can't hear everything he's saying because he is very good at keeping conversations private.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, we'll make sure that doesn't gets back to the barracks okay. Ren and Henry don't really need to report to Zerka, so they'll kind of stay out of the way of that, I guess.
Do we want to ask Zerka what her plans are to see if we can coordinate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like after she's done dealing with
Yeah.
all of these people coming back, then yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. So why don't we leave them to it, let the dozen bond and cry, and we can go drop the stuff off with Jenna and then maybe come back and see if Zerka is free.
Let's do that. Okay.
That is a fair bit of time to do, to go all the way to the barracks and then back out to the half mug and then all the way there is a good 45-50 minutes. Um, so Jenna takes the supplies rather happily and continues working. Um, um, she does want y'all to come back at roughly midday to early afternoon the next day. Uh, um, you know what? That would be pretty obvious. Yes, Arnold was crying.
Arnold's crying.
Like he wasn't making sound, but big ol' tears. Nothing about that man is small.
Big manly tears.
Yeah, that's not like insight. That is, you look around and see it. So yeah, you would have noticed that. Looked over that on my list. Sorry.
Okay.
Jenna does ask that y'all come back about after like early afternoonish the next day, so that she can give you more of a rundown of like now that they have a more concrete location. She wants to give a bit more of a rundown of the way that it will most likely work, the way that it is designed to work, at least.
Do we want, I think Henry brings this up to Jenna and Ren, do we want to do this in the same place that we did before? Or do we want to try to find somewhere else? Like at the university.
Ren likes the place they did it before, but if Jenna is not willing to return there, then that's another factor. Also, it is catching up to Ren that they have a whole lot of plans going on at once. They do not have Jenna coordinating with Kenda at the moment, and also Zerka's doing something, so we need to actually get this stuff coordinated before everyone starts throwing magic around.
So maybe we can, do we want to bring up Kenda to Jenna right now?
No, I'd
Okay.
bring up Jenna to Kenda first.
I think you already did, and Kenda
did.
said they would definitely work with Jenna if that would help.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I think...
Can I get an insight check just real quick on the pair of them?
That one.
3.
Cool. Continue.
Reassuring. Okay.
Wait, okay, not one on one of them. Can I roll again for the other one?
Okay.
Okay, it's fine.
Ren is just going to say that, of course, he and Henry have been looking for options and backups on how to get callback, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. And he's going to say that they may have a powerful magic user that may be willing to collaborate with them. And Ren is going to go ahead and promise that they won't get into trouble if they want to come back to the university, because Ren is just bold enough to promise things from the university staff, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah.
Make a persuasion check real quick.
Okay. Haven't made one of those in a while. And that's a nat 20. Okay.
Woo!
Fucking
get it.
I don't need to roll. You got a nat 20. I don't need to roll. Even with your 3 insight earlier, when you say that, and you say it apparently with fucking gusto, you can see Oster's shoulders just kind of drop a little bit, and like a little tension goes out. Jenna just kind of nods, and as you are mentioning a powerful magic user that is willing to help, she pulls out a little abacus and starts sliding shit, um, and then says, "How powerful are we talking? Like, like the fireball hurts really bad, or like cosmic power?"
I don't even know.
A lot. A lot.
Okay. More things on the abacus.
Possibly the most powerful person in the city.
She stops and just slides all of it just slides everything back over to its like starting position and puts it away and goes, uh I I would imagine that that could be extraordinarily helpful.
Okay. What can I tell them about this? Like, I would like for you guys to be able to arrange a meeting place. Um, would them funneling magic into this help fuel the device somehow? How does this work?
um More just raw arcana could help intensely. um if they could just be at the location that we were at, that we ran our test, um or she kind of like looks around the tavern and says, "Could they come here with y'all tomorrow at about at the same time of the early afternoon? That way, I could just give them the rundown that I plan on giving y'all tomorrow."
It occurs to Ren that he's just never seen Kenda leave the university district. Or, at least not like the main hall or anything. So he can't imagine Kenda coming to a tavern.
I think as Ren kind of stops.exe, failed to run, um, Henry says, "Would it be possible to meet a little bit closer to the university?"
She kind of looks over at her jumble of things and says, and starts like pointing out pieces and saying words that don't sound like they're in common anymore. Um, like you can't tell any accents or inflection of any language of any of the many languages you know, but it doesn't sound like common anymore. Um, but and then she goes, I. Mm, I could. Hmm. If I could, I assume that one or both of you will be the ones going. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I will have more to explain to the two of you. So if y'all could come in the early afternoon, and then I could give a necessary explanation to this all-powerful being. um, I could explain to them in a briefer time, maybe late afternoon, um,
Mhm.
in a much closer location to where we plan on actually, conducting
Mhm.
the experiment.
Okay.
Okay.
For now, I'm going with the assumption of the same courtyard that we used last time. So we'll pass that on and we'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. And Ren is gonna go and he's gonna talk to Ken about that. Henry, did Henry need to do anything else around here?
Nope.
Okay.
So, we can kind of push through this evening. Um, oh, sorry, y'all are going back to talk to Zerka.
Mhm. Oh yeah, Dr. Circuit.
Yeah.
I,
So
I need a perception check.
15.
Mod 20.
Um, okay. So as you approach, y'all can hear voices from Zerka's office. Roughly 12.
What's the vibe on those voices? I ask with my mod 20.
Well, but, I mean, it's not happy, but there's not shouting. There's no there. You don't hear accusation.
I think Henry kind of puts a hand on Ren's arm as they, hear those voices and goes, "Should we come back later?"
Let's come back later.
Okay, let's come back later.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I am maybe gonna go back to my room. I'm gonna knit some more. If you want to go talk to High Power Kenda and then come and get me when you're done, and then we could go check and see if Zerka is in a better spot to talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I think Henry gives Ren a hug and then goes to his room.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
So-
Going straight to Kenda.
Yep.
Let's actually roleplay this.
Knocks on the door.
There is a whoosh of air as the door bangs open, and they say, "Until we get your friend back, you can just come in."
Okay. So Ren will take that as an invitation to come in. So and I guess he'll find his usual seat if it's where it usually is. Mercurial room.
There aren't really seats anymore. Everything is covered in books and scrolls and everything. So you find a somewhat clear spot to stand.
Yeah, he'll stand. It's fine.
And after much wrestling, Kenda comes out from behind their desk, wearing pretty simple, at least for Kenda terms, pretty simple clothing of just like a bright red shirt that has a very low plunging V, and just practical looking brown pants. And they kind of come swirling out with slightly green skin, and they start rattling off some stuff that they learned that's just like, minutia of Jinn stuff.
Ren listens attentively and actually tries to learn whatever he can from that. Because yeah, he wants to be informed about this. So does anything come of that? Like, does Kenda say anything that Ren would have understood?
Yes, you can kind of understand what's going on, but it's not like directly helpful to the current situation. They are learning a lot about themselves as well as trying to find things that will help in your current situation. So, so a lot of what will help is hidden in the expanse of knowledge that there is about Jinn.
Yes. Okay. So I guess whenever it's Ren's turn, he'll basically relay to Kenda that. So those other people that we had been talking to that you said that you'd be willing to collaborate with.
Mm-hmm.
They may be willing to collaborate. There's a courtyard in the university. You know that one that nobody ever uses because it's so out of the way?
They kind of sit there and think for a second and say, "I think so."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Ren will specify more than that, but yeah. So they may be willing to meet there tomorrow. So also, I should mention, it seems that the artificer who created the translocator device that we're interested in using used to be a student here, and it seems that she disagreed with Galdanis about some things. But I don't think it will be a problem if she wants to come help us with this.
Disagreement with Galdanis? Yeah, just her eyes their eyes kind of roll back in their head, which is not exactly what happens when they use sending, but their eyes kind of roll back. They mutter for a second, and then pause, and with the eyes still back, and then they just kind of shout, "Fuck! I'm working on something, okay?" And then their eyes come back. And they say, "It won't be a problem."
Thank you. I love Kenda so much. Yeah, so they may be willing to meet tomorrow. They say that funneling Arcana into the device would be helpful in powering it. And she can explain better than I can. She understands it way better than I do, but it works. We used the device once, and it worked. That was how we found Call's location, but it was unstable enough that it didn't last, and I came back pretty quickly before I could get them. But anyway, tomorrow, if that's okay.
Yes, certainly. I will do what I can to help.
Thank you so much. Okay. And I think Ren is going to do his customary, can I help you with anything here? Like, can he grab anything for Kenda? Or
They don't need anything at this point in time.
Okay. So Ren will excuse himself and go back to Henry so they can go talk to Zerka, perhaps?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna need another perception check as y'all approach.
Okie dokie. That's a nat 20.
Nice. 17.
It's a nat 20. You can tell that everyone is still in Zerka's office. But also it's not everyone is talking. Now Zerka just seems to be you can only hear Zerka's voice, but but it's a nat 20, so you have you can tell that everyone is in there. You can't tell what Zerka is saying, but you can tell it doesn't really seem to be instruction. It's more like information.
Okay.
I think we should knock.
Should we?
There are two-ish outcomes, two general outcomes. If we'd knock now, one is they get angry and escalate emotions again. But they will listen to Zerka. And I think if Zerka is giving them information about the plan, it might be good if we're there. Because if there's something that they need multiple people for, it would be good if we were there with everyone.
You're right. I also just hesitate to interrupt a meeting with the Corps of Blades, especially since I'm not certain that everyone likes us right now. And also, we can't save Call if the doesn't kill us. So
That's true. That's true. All right. Well,
Maybe we should come by tomorrow morning.
okay. Let's come back tomorrow
Okay.
morning. Do you want to see what I've been knitting?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we go back to Henry's room,
1 second.
and okay.
Standing out there talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a point to say that only one person was talking.
Talking quietly. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't say any.
How close were we to the door?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that we would have been talking loudly close to the door. I feel like we would have not been within earshot, but
These are
This
still very
is-
observant people.
These,
Just a
this is the
dozen.
this is the
that's true.
this is the only 12 spies in the city.
Yeah.
Fair.
You see the door cracks open slightly, and Finks pokes his head out to see the two of you.
Hi.
He kind of shouts over his shoulder to Zerka, saying that y'all are there, and you hear her from inside say, "Let them in."
Okay. I think as we get to the door, Henry says, "We can come back later."
Finks just holds the door open for you.
Okay, we go in.
Dirk and Kayla are next to each other, kind of mimicking each other, in that but they both have hard expressions on their faces. Their arms are crossed, and they are fully facing the two of you. List kind of seems to be positioning themselves to block their line of sight to you. Percy is the only one sitting down. And he is he's nearby them, but he is sitting. Zerka is behind her desk as usual. The others are, for the most part, just standing and waiting. Arnold kind of just gives y'all a sad look, but not like it doesn't look accusatory. More of like just seeing y'all reminds him of Call, and he is sad.
I think Ren will first apologize for interrupting, but then he'll just like addressing Zerka, he'll go into report mode, and essentially say that he and Henry have a very good option, an option they're confident with that can be done tomorrow night at the Dual Moon. That is by this point tomorrow night, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's roughly a day exactly from now because it is evening.
Yeah. Exactly. So okay, cool. And so yeah, he'll report that they have a good option they're confident with. They're coordinating with a couple of different people, and essentially, Zerka had said that she had been working on something, and so Ren is just going to ask if there's any way that you would like to coordinate with us for anything.
Okay, first of all, I gotta ask for insight checks from both of you. This is insight on the room.
24.
14.
I'm just gonna go through everything. I will make a note if Ren isn't picking up on it immediately, but Henry, you're getting just about everything that's happening in the room. Esdley is like right next to Zerka's desk and just looks ready to do the next mission. Jax is still standing in the room and still just kind of blank. But you get the feeling that he can act if called upon. Andy is real hard to read, but he looks ready. This is the best I'll say. After y'all's explanation of y'all have a plan, Dirk and Kayla both still look hard, but some of the tension have gone out of their necks. Pim is almost standing on the balls of her feet, looking like she is ready to sprint. You can't really get what she's ready to do, but she's ready. Oddly enough, List seems to be the one that's keeping tempers cool. More so than Percy in this specific situation. There is emotion plain on Seymour's face. He is very angry, and it does not seem to be directed at the two of you. But he also looks rather ready. You can't tell much what Finks is. Ren can't really see what Finks is doing. You're not really getting much off of him. But Henry, you can see that Finks has somehow even better insight on Seymour's emotions than you seem to, and is keeping an eye on him. Arnold is just watching Zerka, hoping for a plan. Percy looks tired. Looks like he has been burning the candle from both ends in the middle. And just this is another thing, and it sucks. So that's the feeling of the room. That being said, after your report, Zerka, and then you also asked if Zerka wanted to coordinate. Zerka says, the only leads that I had would have ended up taking a long time. More what I am doing here right now. She pauses and says, we're handling another issue. If you get called back, then you can join us.
We will get called back.
She's gonna make an insight check on you because she wants to know. She wants to know. So you can either do. If you're lying, you can do deception or roll persuasion.
Okay, persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Mod 20.
One moment. I have made a lot of characters. Fuck. Yeah. So she kind of just stares you down for a little while, then just nods and says, see that you do. and then kind of nods towards the door.
And we'll exit.
Henry will as well.
All right, I have to take another tea break, but when we come back, the day that is the beginning of the dual moon.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I still have not finished my risotto.
Finish your food, please.
I'm
Yes,
excited to eat. Okay.
I am mildly disappointed in Percy's reaction. This is just another thing? What was I to you?
I don't think he meant
Just
it like
another
that.
thing.
I don't think he meant it like
I
don't
know,
think
but
he
I'm
meant it like
choosing to take it that way.
Okay. More like, yeah, this is the thing I did not need on top of everything else. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Oh
beyond.
no, I knew what Ben meant. I am choosing to take it in the way that gives me mock offense.
I adore you.
Not gonna lie, I thought the same thing when I heard it phrased that way. I was like, rude.
I knew what he meant, but
Yeah.
I could see like, okay, Ben, like perceived differently that could sound funny, but I know what
Yeah.
you mean. And you
Yeah.
guys are just taking it in bad faith. So
No, at the very first, I actually did think that that was what Ben meant, and I was like, rude as fuck.
no, Percy cares a lot.
She cares so much. I kind of like that he's not totally on board, like with Henry and Ren, that he's like suspicious and kind of looking for someone to blame, and he's usually the very level-headed, calm one, but he's being kind of persuaded by Dirk and Kayla, like not fully, but the fact that he's like sitting near them and is like List is the one doing the call. Like I feel like Percy is very, very affected by this. He's just quiet.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I do too.
I want to marry List.
I'm so glad that we got the dozen. What? Yes, absolutely, as you should.
I'm so glad the dozen is back.
Me too.
Like of all the things where it's like, no, something is gonna happen in these 2 days. I'm so glad that it's the dozen comes back. This is perfect.
Honestly, this is the best possible thing that could have happened in the 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
When Ben was like, "You can't skip it," I was like, "What could possibly be that?" And I'm like, "No, this. Yep, it's my friends. It's my babies."
Yeah.
Babies. Mm-hmm. I love Arnold.
Love Arnold so much. And yeah, with Percy, I'm really happy that Percy is not calm right now.
Mhm.
Like Percy is actually not able to help other people with their emotions right now because Percy's like, nah, I got my own feelings to deal with right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like that Percy is extra upset.
Agreed.
Percy has emotions of their own. It is wonderful. And it's so fun to have all the babies back. When Ben was like, yeah, and Finks comes darting past, and I'm like, my boy? My
Your son?
child? Yes.
Actual
Little baby brother?
That was so excellent. Like, of all things, Finks just charging through town on a horse. Was he looking for us specifically?
I doubt it. I think he was just looking for someone that could heal. And considering there's no one else in the Core of Light except for the druids at the
Henry.
gate and Henry and Patch.
That's real fair.
Like literally no one with healing magic. So, I mean, he could have probably gotten like a non-magical healer, but Should we work on our sending for call tonight?
Ah, shit, we should have asked Zorka.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think she has anything else to say. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, I heard some things that sounded like they needed clarification. What was going on?
Oh, no, they were just joking.
Oh,
Yeah, we were joking. Your wording of call being gone as just another thing that's upsetting Percy, rude.
Like,
Call's
Oh.
not just another thing. How could you? And then we all jumped on the bandwagon of, no, let's overanalyze Percy, and he actually does care a lot. And
I mean, shit's been going down for him, and then a severely depressing episode happens.
his boozing, his ex
I mean,
and friend.
okay. So, bless you. So, continuing. I probably should have said this before I left. Sendings for call. Sendings for Bennett.
Yeah, we realized that right as you came back.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, I need to write mine for Bennett.
Also, I'm kind of assuming that we're okay with going a little long. Is that right?
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that if y'all are, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go as long as I can. The tea is very helpful. It's good tea.
Did you make enough water for me?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, I might go grab something in a second.
You can get that sending in.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see if that sounds good.
I was on mute, but I awed out loud.
Gross.
Yeah, I think that that's perfect.
Oh goodness. Okay, well, Call's gonna send a response back. You should read it out loud for the folks at home.
Oh.
Yeah.
All dozen are home safe. Emphatically, they miss you. Coordinating Kenda and translocator for tomorrow night. We're optimistic. We'll see you soon.
You do receive it in Barnabas twice.
Woo!
Where is the chat? Okay. I just sent my sending to Bennett, to you, Benjamin. Because all my lovers are named Ben, apparently. real and imaginary. I'm gonna go make some tea. I'll be back.
Okay. Guys, while y'all were off doing important things, I was taking a pit crew and then photoshopping the pit crew to be more accurate.
Excellent.
I didn't go that hard, but I did do little things. Like fixed the eyebrows and the shape of the jaw, added the hair stuff.
I think it's a very cute improvement.
Thank you.
Mm.
There are a ton of very small corrections. Like even the eyes are like a little bit bigger and in slightly different positions and stuff like that. The nose is bigger.
So the bottom image is just the pit crew?
Yeah, the bottom image is just the pit crew. The top one is the one I did editing on.
Can you send that pit crew? Because that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's a great pit crew. It is specifically designed for fantasy characters.
Nice.
So I will send that through. In case you wanted to make some fucking tieflings or add pier. Can I make a slight tweak to my sending even though I already sent it back?
Yeah, I guess.
You're allowed to say no.
Yes, you can. You can make it.
Okay.
Oh.
And then go ahead and read it out loud for those at home.
Yes.
And will you read Bennett's response? I like hearing the inflections.
25 words aren't enough. Would likely be easier for Karov to come to you. Let me know how your method works.
How or if?
If. I mean, he said how, but I'll let you know that he means like how it works out.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I had asked Bennett, would Henry go to Karov to get called back? But Bennett's saying no. Karov would go to... Yeah.
All right. Well, Call's response comes through, and it says, "Deeply glad they're safe. How early tomorrow night? Uncertain when Vip will try themselves. Would rather you go first. We'll try to delay them."
I think Henry panics a little bit at that. He's like it sounds like Vic is just gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and not Call doesn't have much say. Um, I think we should tell them they should be safe no matter what they're doing, but we'll go as fast as we can.
We'll have to try as early as possible tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ren looks at Barnabas kind of with a, hey, can we send one more maybe?
Let me figure that out. Another fairly easy day. He said he just yes, I have a few more, if need be. Sorry, that was a loud sip.
How dare you?
I'm very sorry for sneezing so loud earlier.
Sip.
I thought I had muted. By the way.
Just trying to provide some of that ASMR. Yeah.
Okay. How do we think about that?
Um,
Hmm?
the only thing that I would think is maybe should we add that it's gonna be like it has to be in the evening when the dual moons are up? Or is that just kind of implied? Like, I guess Ben would Call know that.
Did Call...
We did say dual moons in an earlier sending.
Yeah, and Call did say how early tomorrow night.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, so it's assumed that it would be
Okay,
at night.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
Roll a d20? Oh no, I guess Barnabas is
yeah,
rolling.
let me... one of these times it's gonna fail.
Shut up.
Not this time, though.
Roger that. We'll begin working on response, though you guys should read it out loud.
Okay. Last one was, we'll determine exact time tomorrow, tell you if we can, and go as early as possible. Do you feel Vic is dangerous?
And after that jaunty conversation, friends, call's response comes through. Vic keeps secrets, which makes them dangerous to me. Do think they genuinely plan to send me back. Rather not take it to chance, though. Rather not take the chance, though.
Henry breathes a huge sigh of relief and says, I think we should trust Call's judgment. You know, if it can get them back, great. But we should definitely try ours first. Okay. Oh, for the reference. Oh, well. Okay, so I think we probably don't need to ask them anything else tonight.
I think we should get some sleep.
Okay. Henry thanks Master Barnabas.
He kind of nods very deeply, almost a bow, and says, I'm happy to be of help. Though I am willing to help more. I hope very.
Rodwin just said Barnabas didn't say hi back.
Oh man.
Oh
Barnabas
man.
didn't say hi back.
Yeah.
Barnabas will say hi in person. He says, though I'm willing to help more, I hope that tomorrow my services aren't needed. And lets y'all out. Next morning, anything that y'all want to do, or shall we just jump to? Okay.
Oh.
So I will need a perception check on your way to the half a mug to get your lowdown from Jenna.
Well, 7.
That is a 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ren certainly hears them first, but even a 7 is enough to hear the trumpets as once again, slightly different than last time, but you do hear trumpets and horns in the distance, once again coming from the western gate. However, this time, instead of it, oh, a lovely boy.
Oh boy.
Instead of it spreading throughout the city as if it were a celebration, it is much more of a just much more of a progression of, like, you think it's probably just the same couple people with horns, who just, like, the only reason the sound is moving is because they are moving. So proper. And it is following the main road toward you. You expect you'll probably have to go past whatever it is. As you approach it, and it approaches you because you are heading in opposite directions, as they get close, you start to be able to hear the words of the herald leading this procession, as he cries out, "Make way for Baron Edward II of Blackstone, Prince of the Realm, Master of the King's Horse, the King's right hand." And then he waits a little bit and says it again. And at this point, you can see people, like, moving to the edges of the street, but still trying to, like, lean in to get a view of who is coming. When they finally do kind of round the corner for you to see them, it's a fair-sized procession. Not massive, not like, it doesn't look like foreign dignitaries or anything. But at the front, there is a crier who also has a horn, who alternates between blowing the horn and then crying out his whole spiel. Flanking him on either side are two guards who are armored but kind of parade dress, wearing Kachin blue with a tabard of Kachin blue with the Kachin knight in its the insignia. But the three of them are all wearing very obviously, "This is our pretty clothes." Behind them are two men wearing much more armor that looks like it deflects swords. And the tabards they wear are not Kachin blue. They are half black and half white. And the insignia is a tower that on the white half is black and on the black half is white. They have their eyes open and are watching the crowd and look just kind of mean, as all good guards should. Immediately after those two is a man whom you would assume is Baron Edward II. He is mounted on a beautiful white charger, big horse, that is immaculately groomed. He's wearing a bit of a silly looking black hat that's kind of it's just kind of a little bit poofy, and it has this tall blue feather coming out of it. He is also wearing rather ornamental, like parade-looking armor, and his tabard is actually quartered to where two of the quarters are the black. One is black, one is white, with the tower kind of cut out of the corners, and then the other two are Kachin blue with the knight kind of cut in the corners, which is a rather common practice for showing that your allegiance is kind of split between two standards. He has roughly Asian features, a pretty solid build. It's hard to tell how tall he is when he's mounted, but he has dark reddish hair that just barely peeks out from under his silly little hat. That is like it's really dark, almost red. He has gray eyes, and he is wearing a smile that somehow looks both slightly out of place on his face and also easy and well worn. Immediately behind him are two more men. One is on a much smaller black mare that looks like it could run for a long time. And the man riding that horse has, once again, dark features, but looking more Native American. He has long black hair that is in a very plain 3-strand braid that just falls straight down his back. He has dark brown eyes and a somewhat firm expression. He doesn't seem to be enjoying the parade that they are a part of. His clothes look expensive, but it is not armor. There's no insignia on his clothing. It is just black and white. The other man next to him is riding a rather plain horse in comparison to the two horses before him. It's just a brown roan. He also has Asian features with dark hair and eyes. He holds himself very upright and proudly, but his eyes they look clever and like he is keeping a very watchful eye. He is wearing hard leathers that are dyed black, with the black and white tower emblazoned directly onto the leathers rather than a tabard. He's wearing that leather over a white shirt, and closely watching, you can see the handles of two weapons kind of coming from in front of him, kind of on the saddle. But you can't see like the scabbards of the weapons, so you aren't sure what they are. And then behind them are another pair of the hardened-looking black and white tower armored soldiers. And then behind them is kind of a less organized group of guardsmen and what look to be servants. However, even the servants are dressed in finery, and no one in this procession looks to have ever gone hungry a day in their life. No one in that group, yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Big events going on in the city.
There's some people going down this road.
Including Ren, because he is not stopping to watch. So
Henry
he probably is gripping Henry by the wrist and like dragging like each other through the crowd.
Give me dexterity saving throws, both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a nat 20.
That is not a good one. Let's see. That's a good thing that I'm a paladin with an aura. 8.
Okay. I'm gonna actually play this as Ren is very expertly avoiding people kind of snaking through the crowd to continue on, and is pulling Henry behind him slightly, and Henry is, of course, apologizing every time he touches anyone, but is kind of like almost knocking people over as they because I doubt that Ren would allow him to slow at all. So Henry is like running into somebody. Oh, I'm so sorry. And as he's turned to apologize to them, he runs into someone else. It's a rough travel. Leaves maybe one or two people on their ass. But you do make it through the crowd and continue on to Jenna. Go ahead.
Ren, make an insight check.
15.
Henry is being like what Ben said, but he also seems like his eyes are a little glazed. Like he's not as focused on getting to Jenna as he was before the crowd. He's like, this is a lot.
Okay.
All right, and we go to Half-Mug.
We got so many questions for Henry later.
Emphasis on later.
Yeah.
Yeah, later.
So, rather than role play this this exchange, I'm just going to vomit some information at you.
Oh, you do that?
So,
Thank you.
Jenna kind of just is giving this rundown of, okay, so there is still a very small chance of failure, like meaning complete failure. I think that with this all-powerful being, it is incredibly small. It is within the astral plane. I've been taking readings and such. It is within the astral plane. One thing to know, if you ever find yourself just in the astral plane freely, you can still move. You can't breathe, but you can move. If that were to happen, do your best. Before we go, take a deep breath. It'll be important. Neither of you are sickly. Neither of you are sickly. She then looks at Ren. I think that you'll be fine, because the device will not keep you there for a long period of time, even at catastrophic failure. There is a small chance, slightly larger than catastrophic failure, but there is a chance that it will be a similar situation to the last time of you going there and immediately coming back. If that is the case, or no matter what, I would try your best to get a hand on your friend, because if you are in contact with them, they will come back with you. If everything works perfectly, you will have all of the time you need. The device will be with you. When you put your hand like so, she shows you like a specific positioning of your fingers on the device. Doing this will bring you back, as well as any living being you are touching and whatever either of you are wearing. Large inanimate objects will not be teleported. There is also a success, but slightly less success chance that you will have less than 10 seconds to grab what you can, and you will be taken back. In that case, you will not see the device, and you will just be teleported back. So you will know everything worked perfectly if the device is there with you, which is what I'm hoping for. Yes, so I believe that is all. And then they go into more airplane safety type stuff. That's I'm not going to actually explain to you out loud. And we can go ahead and jump to the courtyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, one thing that Henry would have said to Ren, one of the things that he's been working on is he kind of sewed, from a garment that he already had, y'all know what a wrap dress is? Where it's like you just kind of put it on like a coat and then you just tie it and it's like you're fully clothed. That's what Henry made so that they can just throw it on call and they're not just straight naked.
That's so sweet.
Yep. It's also big enough that if they just throw it on call, it kind of covers. So Henry
Okay.
figured Ren would appreciate that.
Ren looks helplessly endeared with his friend. Okay, yeah, he's ready to go though. He praises Henry's work. It looks very good.
Thank you.
Okay. A quick description of the setup, because y'all aren't as involved because of the technical minutia. But you're there and ready to help in any way you can, which tends to be lots of, okay, stand there. Okay, now stand there. And as the sun is beginning to go down, Kenda is there. They had a rapid, far more technical than you've heard Kenda sound before conversation. But they seemed to fully understand whatever it was that Jenna was explaining. That is set up. They have a couple of crystals that are slowly floating a circle around them. They are a deep, like, ocean blue, and their clothes match their skin color, except where the ends of their garment froths slightly as if it were waves. They look fucking badass. Jenna is going over a few last-second preparations with the device. Oster looks a little nervous because they seem to notice that Kenda is one of the masters of the university and is just a little antsy. Obviously Kenda has not done anything to even slightly indicate that they're in trouble in any way, but Oster still looks a little antsy, which is odd considering how calm and casual they typically are. I believe that's everyone who is there. None of the dozen are here. Give me a perception check real quick.
Mod 20.
Just briefly, Ren catches a glimpse of Pim. But, like, you see her go to do something, look back, she's not there anymore. A little bit later, you see her again in a different location, and then you look away, and it's just like occasionally you catch a glimpse of her, but she's not, like, just in one position watching. All right. Who wants to roll the 10s and who wants to roll the 1s?
Oh, God.
Right.
Okay. What should I'm going to use my early? No, I'm going to use my fake dice. Another
What do we want to do?
how about I roll the 1s place and you roll the 10s place?
Okay.
Okay, how many times do we need to roll, babe?
Just once.
Just once? Okay.
50.
3.
53. All right. So, as y'all stand around the device, Jenna once again does her little motions on it. It begins to levitate between the two of you. Small beams of electricity, very Tesla coil-esque, are shooting off of it, which did not happen last time. You see Kenda just very quickly snatch one of the gems that are floating around their head out of the air and crush it. And then a very similar effect starts happening around them, and the beams of electricity connect and are attracted to each other. You stand there for longer than the previous time of it powering up. It is spinning rapidly. You feel the hairs on your arms and your neck and your head stand up. And as it continues going, you see Kenda makes a little bit of a face and snatches another one of the gems and crushes it in their hand. And suddenly the lightning from their side changes to red. The red arcs through the air into the device. You close your eyes at how bright it is, the both of you, and open them to everything being oddly blue.
Ren is holding his breath, and he's going to make sure that he's holding on to Henry's.
You are.
Okay.
It takes a very brief second for your eyes to adjust. It was so bright, and it is now rather dark. Most of the light is a slow, throbbing blue. You are able to look around a little bit. The direction you are facing, you can see a desk that looks like it wants to be dusty, but isn't, as well as a wardrobe that is facing you. All of the drawers and doors are closed. As you begin to turn around to look, you see stand in between your shoulders, well, height difference, but in between you see the device floating there. As you begin to look around, go ahead and give me a perception check, the both of you.
7.
19.
Ren, you are far more preoccupied with finding out what is in the sphere, which is what it is, a pale blue sphere that you can see. It's about 15 feet in every direction from you, both up and down. However, directly under you, there seems to be an invisible barrier, but anywhere that something is touching it, it is glowing blue. So at your feet, at the feet of the desk and the wardrobe, there is a glowing blue light. It seems like the larger the object, the brighter the blue. So under Henry's feet it is a little bit brighter because he is a stocky, dense boy. But as you quickly turn around, you also see a 5-foot cube box, as well as a chair, and a familiar sight to Ren of a mat with. One moment, we'll cut to Henry just briefly. Henry, something catches your eye outside of the circle. It's hard to see what it is. It's either something about the size of like a wasp, and it's like on the edge of the sphere, and it's moving kind of like oddly slowly, or it's something truly massive, very, very far away. That catches your eye for a moment, but then I assume you hear either Ren or Call exclaim as they see each other.
So I rolled to see how well Call would do with the sudden appearance of people in the very, very quiet sphere. And That flat roll was a 3, so I'm pretty sure Call squawked. I'm pretty sure the very first thing Call did was just go something along the lines of, Jesus Christ!
Who's that?
Like, yeah. But not Jesus.
Yeah.
Deific expletive.
What does Ren do?
Ren is fine.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck off.
He looks like he would be beaming if he weren't panicking. So yeah, he looks like he would just like be beaming if he were not panicking. So basically like, okay, it is mission time, we're doing this now. So how freely can Henry and Ren walk?
Entirely.
Okay. And where's the orb? Is it floating or?
So it dodecahedron, and it is floating in the air between the two of you, still slightly crackling with that lightning energy.
Okay.
I think Henry takes this moment to say, I made you this dress, and like goes to like help Call put it on like a coat, and then ties it around their waist.
Call is wearing a dark gray robe.
Oh, never mind.
Cool. Okay.
Henry sees that and puts.
before any of that- So, I think Call is going to first walk to them. And I, just before anyone starts deciding that they're gonna dress Call up like a very well-intentioned doll, I think Call's going to walk over and be like, how the fuck did you guys here? I thought I was just gonna pop over there.
Ren doesn't even answer. He just like is still holding on to Henry with one hand and just grabs Call really, really tight with the other arm, like, yeah, fucking try to like get loose. And is gonna tell Henry to do the thing with the dodecahedron that Jenna showed us with the hand.
Right. So Henry does that as quickly as possible, as soon as Call is in hand.
The second you touch the device, your hand goes entirely numb to the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
And the three of you hear the rattling of bones in your head. And then there is a bright flash, similar to before, that causes you to all close your eyes. And when you open them, you are standing in the courtyard.
All three of us?
All three of you.
Okay.
It's back!
You are all touching, so yes.
Oh my god!
Henry, because Call is wrapped in Ren's arms, Henry also goes in for the super tight hug for the three of them.
Call, is kind of head on a swivel looking around trying to figure out what's happening, patting whoever they can reach with one arm, and the other arm is like making sure that the robe's staying closed and is like on them. So there's a lot of information processing going on Call's end right now. So sorry, you were going to say something?
No, you go for it.
No, go ahead.
I think Henry just like, if the orientation allows, just like gives Call a kiss on each cheek and on the forehead, and then hugs them tighter and says, never again, never again. You're back. You're with us. And just is kind of mumbling like unintelligibly, that kind of stuff.
I think Call is gonna kind of do like one of those like exhaling a laugh and is going to say just a little bit, man. I could just be like, I didn't mean to leave the first time.
No, it's not. No, it's not your fault. We're gonna keep you safe. We're not gonna let this happen again. Not that you need
Call
protection.
is going to Call is going to very firmly rub Henry on the back as much as is possible when Henry is wearing giant armor that is not going to be nice to hands.
It's very jingly.
And so may settle for, like, patting. Just a firm clank, clank sound.
It's like, what's Ren doing?
Ren is being a horrible little spider, just very, very clingy right now, and I think you might hear one tiny "I'm sorry," and he's just gonna keep holding on to Call. And Arthur's being a bad cat.
Oh no! Naughty boy.
Naughty boy.
I think that, so Call's response to that is just going to be, like, grabbing Ren's, like, Ren's wearing their cloak, right?
Yeah, he's wearing his cloak, yeah.
Okay, so, Call's gonna, like, kind of hold him by the cloak a little bit tighter and just kind of do, like, a tiny little tug on it. And not say anything in response to that at the moment. So I think while Call's hands are busy, like, you know, comforting their friends, and I honestly, I think at the moment, Call is the one who looks most, like, composed out of everybody.
I would say so.
Well, in fairness, Call's the only one who knows the situation they were in. So there was way more unfamiliar information for everybody else. So I think Call's gonna go ahead and roll for perception and see if they can figure out what the fuck is happening here.
Go for it. Immediately after that, I need a Constitution saving throw.
From everybody? Or
Wonderful.
Just from Call.
Oh.
Cool.
Perfect.
Remember to add
So
+3.
What?
+3 to
Your
the Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, for my aura.
Oh, okay. So the perception roll was a 23.
Okay. You are immediately able to make out Kenda, who is currently levitating about 6 feet in the air, still crackling slightly.
Jesus.
Jenna, who is jumping up and down, clapping, and trying to find a way, because the dodecahedron is kind of trapped within y'all. So she's kind of like jumping and clapping, and also like trying to get it, but also like not trying to interrupt, because it's like, I know y'all have been separated, and this has been crazy, but I also really want that thing. And Oster kind of looks like they're about to just like go for it for her, but also like debating on like, is that a good idea? And with a 23, you do see Pym standing a bit out in the open on a rooftop, with her jaw just kind of hanging open. And she makes eye contact with you and gives you like a very hearty nod, and then turns hard and sprints off.
Love that. So, Call knows that Circa's going to know that they're back before they get there. Okay, and you said make a Constitution saving throw?
Yes.
Okay.
+3.
I will do that. I also need to know what my fucking stats are for that.
Someone gets to roll again.
I did. I got to make a roll. That is a whole 14.
That's including the +3 from Henry?
Oh no, not including the +3 from Henry. That would make it a 17.
All right. You feel a wave of hunger. As I messaged you before, you didn't feel hungry while you were in the sphere, but now that you're out,
Yes.
your body just went, ah, shit, it's been like 4 days, man. And you're real hungry. But you do not fall to the ground incapacitated.
I am, however, going to say that Call's stomach probably makes a very audible gurgle.
Probably.
So
Henry
it is
reaches into his bag of
probably
holding.
very obvious.
Henry reaches into his bag of
Henry
holding
is
and pulls out snacks.
preoccupied. While Henry is preoccupied, I think Call is going to do a weird little shimmy to try and like get the dodecahedron in the spot where, or like get away from the dodecahedron a little bit.
I think when Call's stomach rumbles, I think Ren kind of looks like he just woke up and like kind of separates himself a little bit, but like is still like holding on to Call's like arm probably.
Well, Call hasn't let go either, so.
Okay.
But yeah, Call is trying to shimmy out of the way so that, you know, Jenna doesn't just start pouncing on them.
Jenna gets a hold of their device and starts just. Things start glowing, pieces slowly start coming out of it as she is studying her device. And
Okay.
the crackling around Kenda slowly fades, and they drift down until they're only levitating like a foot off the ground. Because it's Kenda and you gotta be extra.
So I think I understand that Henry is starting to pull out food and everything, but I think Call is currently ignoring that in favor of thanking the various oddly assembled group. So I think Call's gonna kind of like say, you know, I would assume that I have you all to thank for my safe return.
Jenna is so very enthralled in her device that she does not look at or seem to even hear you. Oster makes a little bit of a face at her and then says, honestly, this kind of helped us out, so it wasn't all that altruistic. That one, though, just very kind of terrified, pointing at Kenda. I don't know if you like need to make a sacrifice or and they just kind of grab Jenna by the back of their clothes, like by the scruff of their neck, and start just like slowly pulling them back. And Jenna seems somewhat used to this, continues working while shifting backwards slowly.
Love that. I think Call's going to take a moment to process if they've actually ever met Kenda before, or if they've only ever known about Kenda because of you know, Ren.
They were at the court in session 2, so Call would have seen them at least
Seen
once.
them, but not met them.
Well, yes, but
No.
not met them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Probably
That's a
wouldn't have known
totally
who they
different
were
thing.
even. Yeah. But yeah, that's Kenda.
So, I think Call is going to not move enough to dislodge either Ren or Henry, but is going to give an approximation of a bow towards Kenda and just be like, "Thank you so much for your help."
Kenda's eyes change from the roiling black that they were to just normal green eyes, and they kind of shake a little bit as if they're seeing you for the first time, and then they just look at Ren and say, "It's him. You should think. It's your friends."
In which case, Call is going to respond by kind of yoinking them right back in for another hug. Yeah. I want to know how much Ren is flailing like a fish at that yoink, or how much Ren is actually going in for it.
Just, I think stunned, but like still clinging. I think Ren gives Kenda a look like he also wants to go and thank them and maybe hug them too, but just like very just pathetically grateful.
Call is going to also say, nevertheless, thank you so much. You may have saved my life.
They just kind of give a small nod.
Wonderful. In that case, I'm assuming that Henry has just kind of been holding the food that he immediately was gunning for.
Yeah, he has nuts and dried fruit and hard cheeses, and just like in like little snack containers, and says, "You have an assortment. Would you like to eat something?"
I don't think Call is going to bother answering in words. I think Call is just going to descend.
All right.
I think as Call is eating, Henry says, if there's nothing else that we need to do here, I think there's some people that really need to see you, Call. The dozen are back. I know we said that, but they're back and I think they need to see you.
Call's going to look relieved for about a fraction of a second, and is then going to just kind of grimace and look down and just go, "Oh, there's no way I can get dressed before I see them."
Oh, I have your clothes.
All my clothes are where they are.
I
have your clothes from when you disappeared, and pulls out the outfit that Call was wearing.
The bag of holding, yeah.
Bag of holding.
Yeah, I think, yeah, they're gonna have to find somewhere to just give Call a second of privacy. I think Ren is also going to remember something, and he's gonna take off one of the Rocky Talkies and just without a word, just put it right back on Call. So, yeah, and let's go find somewhere for Call to get dressed, I guess.
You know, I'm also just now realizing that if all of Call's like clothing and such disappeared, all of Call's hair ties also disappeared. So Call's just been like trying to deal with tucking their hair behind their ear for days.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so I guess maybe we could go up to Ren's room and let Call change inside, and Henry and Ren wait in the hallway.
Yes.
Or whatever. And
Kenda just kind of pops out of the courtyard. And Jenna and Oster make their way out as well.
Maybe lots of follow-ups later.
Ben, I do want a clarification.
Mm-hmm.
You today said the word robe, but I believe in all other conversations you have said cloak.
Yes.
And those have very different functions.
Cloak. It was a cloak.
Okay, which is much more important in that it means that Call is not entirely protected from public displays of nudity.
Well, I mean, we're talking like keep the weather off cloak that you can completely wrap up in.
Well, yes, but that it does mean that Call has to be careful what they do with their arms.
Yeah,
True.
It doesn't close the same way as a robe. Okay, yeah. Ren is just gonna point them up to his room, and yeah. I think he'll.
Yeah, that's the important
Call
part, is
know
that Call has to realize that they can't move their arms.
Yeah. Say, let's just go let Call do that, and then we'll go to the barracks.
Okay. Do we need to do anything?
I don't think we need to roleplay Call getting dressed. I don't.
No.
I think that'd be rather hard to roleplay verbally.
I put my foot into the pant leg.
Or at least rather dull.
I will, however, say that if Pier is in Ren's room, Call is going to spend just at least a minute snuggling with Pier and just like cooing over her.
I'm gonna find a video. We're gonna, yeah. Yeah, good. I have a reference for Pier right though.
Okay. So, but I think that's the only thing that needed to be said about Call going to get dressed. I think Call is going to spare a moment to be very grateful, though, that all of their clothes were collected, including their jewelry, and wonder how and why the fuck. So they're probably gonna ask that upon emerging and be like, "How did you fucking get these? Like, were they just lying in the street?"
Yep. They were. In addition to your bow and everything else on you, so I put your clothes and your jewelry in here, but all of your other stuff that was on you is at your bunk. Or did I take all of it? I don't remember. Did I put everything in the...
Not technically, not everything would fit in the bag of holding. Like you couldn't have put their bow.
Like their bow, yeah. Henry
That
gives
would've been at
Call...
the barracks.
Yeah, Henry gives Call everything that he could fit in the bag of holding, and for the big things like their bow, those are back at Call's bunk. And Henry's being
Is Henry lying to Call, or is Asher remembering incorrectly?
I guess Asher is remembering incorrectly.
Because the Light Hands had all of Call's shit, they picked it up out of the middle of the road and were walking away with it.
Yeah, and then we got it all from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They gave it to you guys.
Yeah. So, and then we just carried it back, and I guess that, the stuff that we could fit in the bag is in the bag, and the stuff we couldn't is at the bunker, so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, but the point is, Call asked was it just lying in the street or something? Henry said yes, and I want to figure out if that was an intentional,
Nope, not an intentional lie. Okay, so since that's how, I think Henry would have said, I mean, everything was left behind, and, oh man, I don't know what Henry would say here. Because I think he would be nervous to, like, mention the Light Hands at this point. But since Call directly asked, he's not gonna lie. He's like, well, the Light Hands did pick it up, but they gave it back to us when we found them. Which we ran up, I'm assuming, minutes later.
They gave it back. Why did they take my clothes in the first place?
I mean, I guess they just didn't want to leave it in the street. I don't know.
Oh, great, okay. They're fine with sending people to a pocket dimension, but they have a problem with littering.
Henry looks, not murderous because it's Henry, but, like, close to murderous, of like, all right, that's a problem we're gonna have to solve now. Now that we have callback, next step, fuck up the Light Hands. And then he kind of shakes his head and he's like, they are a problem for another day. I'm so glad to have you back. And Henry squeezes Call's hand. And I think as they're walking back to the barracks, unless Call has something else to say, Henry kind of fills Call in on how everyone reacted. He's like, so Dirk tried to murder me. Kayla looked like she wanted to murder me. Percy is very upset he was not calm, which I've never seen him not calm. And Zerka had blood on her face and was not keeping up with herself, and just kind of goes through the list of how everyone looked.
I think Call is just going to let Henry do that, and just let Henry monologue.
What he does best.
So, and I think Call is going to be very intentional about like being tactile. Like a hand on, Henry's shoulder, or kind of like tugging at Ren's cloak or something like that.
Is Ren wearing his gloves?
I think he was again, but suddenly they're back in his pocket or something.
I wonder how that happened.
I wonder how that happened.
I think he took them off and put them in his pocket.
Oh.
I think
He
that's
didn't
how it
teleport
You
them
really
off?
think so?
No,
Hmm.
no. Yeah, I think.
So assuming
Sorry, I actually need to describe one thing. It is now nighttime, and there are dual moons, and this is the first time it's happened in the campaign, so I need to describe that.
Yeah.
So, just pretend that this description happened right before the activation of the device, but it would still be pretty visible, extraordinarily visible when you all came back. So, first of all, the full moon, even though it goes from a waxing gibbous to completely full faster than it should. Like it goes from missing portion to entirely full. That's the rising typical moon that is significantly larger. And then as the evening progressed, the edge of the moon seems to separate away from itself into a second, much smaller, about half the diameter, second moon that is spinning so quickly you can actually, with your naked eye, see the face changing. And so that's what you would have seen right before the activation and upon Call's return. Now, as it is pushing slightly later into the night, you can, as I said, you can see it spinning, and also it is moving very quickly in front of the moon that is always in the sky, that you can always see. You can see both of them. The smaller is quite a bit brighter, and is in front of, although does not cast a shadow on the larger normal moon.
I love that.
that's really neat.
I do want you to know specifically that I've been very excited for the dual moons just because of the concept of dual moons. I think it's so cool. So, yeah.
Me too. I'm very excited.
Y'all approach the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, what is Call doing?
we are.
Before you quite get there, I do need a perception check from everyone.
Ooh, that is a nat 1.
How much was that, Red?
22.
22. So you can choose if you would act on this. You do see Finks somewhat stealthily coming up from behind. You notice him coming up from behind all of you. I guess Call is just too wrapped up in their friends to notice fucking anything. But both Henry and Ren can see the majority of the dozen coming out of the barracks, or like kind of milling around waiting for y'all. does Ren do anything about Finks coming up from behind?
I think Ren clears his throat.
Well, Call, do
Let me
you
see.
react
Let me
to
see.
Ren clearing his throat?
I'm gonna roll and see. No.
Yeah, I think Ren actually like gives Call a nudge like behind you.
hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. The boy fast.
Oh, the boy fast.
Oh no.
Roll your damn thing. What's your AC? Call.
Well, AC is 16.
16. I need to. I gotta see. Acrobatics plus 5. So that's an 18. So he will hit. You are tackled heavy from behind as Finks just jumps and kind of grabs under your arms and swings his body over your head. And I mean, I would assume that Ren and Henry are still kind of attached to Call, so all of you go down.
Hold on.
I love
Okay,
Finks.
so Call does very quickly realize who this is. I rolled for that. Call got a 26 on that. So Call does very quickly figure out that it's not something to be worried about and will start laughing.
At the sound of laughter, the rest of the dozen is all like approaching, but specifically, Arnold, Percy, Seymour, Jax is actually first, and Dirk are all running to join the dog pile. List is laughing uproariously. Esley, Pym, Andy, and Seymour are a little bit further away.
You said Seymour was approaching.
Sorry, I did. My bad. But yeah, Seymour is coming up to join the dog pile. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. They all seem very, very happy to see you.
I think Call is just going to be like overwhelmed happy laughing because Call has also been actively missing the rest of the dozen anyway, like before all this stuff happened. So this is kind of Call's happy places right now, as being buried under a dog pile of friends.
Because this is what he's good at, Arnold is able to kind of shoulder his way through everyone until he's the one directly on top of you. And he's doing kind of a plank over you so that it's not the weight of literally everyone on top of you, because this is 8-ish people, and that's heavy. And so he's just kind of like keeping you from actually being killed. But that's what he does. And he is once again crying, but also laughing. Because he is big, soft teddy bear man.
He is big soft teddy bear man. And Call is very happy and is probably blindly like grasping for people to like, like smack on the shoulder or like give kind of a weird half-arm hug to, as best Call can. So probably Call's just kind of like randomly flailing their arms a little bit, seeing who they can make contact with.
Ren and Henry are also kind of at the bottom of this. Are they doing anything?
Ren's happy.
All right.
Henry's wearing armor. They can't crush him.
Ren's glass bones and paper skin. He's happy.
Until his heart attacks put him to sleep.
So, I think, unless somebody has something they want to do, I think we might call it there.
I have something that Henry
I
needs
think
to
that's
say.
a really
Okay.
great spot to end it.
Well,
I
I think
have
I know what
something
Henry's
else.
gonna say. So once everyone is no longer fully dogpiled and it's more of a sitting in a circle talking about shit. Go ahead.
So Henry doesn't like say this immediately. It's like kind of like they're all talking and it's kind of like the high of everyone being so happy. Like it's kind of calmed down to a more, yeah, we're all just talking and joking and laughing. Um, I think Henry, like, if anybody's looking at him, they would have seen that, like, it looks like he got hit by a truck by a realization. And I'm assuming he's sitting next to Ren. And he looks at Ren and says, I saw Bennett today. I have to and Henry stands up and he goes up to Call and I'm assuming that Call's in the middle of talking or actively listening to something and Henry goes and he uh puts Call's face in his hands. He's like, I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna be in the courtyard while you're training. I'm gonna follow you around like a puppy. I miss you so much, but I saw Bennett today and I have to go find him. And I think he leaves. Unless Call says something.
Call is going to stammer out. Oh no, Call's going to stammer out an acknowledgement, but also Call is in the middle of processing about 15 things at once, so Call does not have the bandwidth to fully pay attention. Like Call heard it, but Call can't process it right now.
That's fair. That's fair.
And we'll end it there.
Call will probably. Yeah. Call's back. Call's back.
Call's back. Call's back.
Call's
You can all
back.
change your names back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm really glad that we got called back in 2022 because of Bronwyn's name.
I had thought about that. That had not been lost on me.
Also, apparently I can no longer say that I don't know how to predict the length of things, like, because I did my prediction to Bronwyn for getting called back was 5 sessions, and this is the 5th session. So apparently I'm good at that now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Goodbye, everybody at home.
Bye, everyone.